Hello friends. Dark Phoenix is ending the X-Men franchise's 19-year saga, which is way longer than Marvel Studios' measly 11-year saga.
You mean the film franchise that has grossed more than $21 billion worldwide?
Yeah, those guns. As we say goodbye to these versions of Professor X, Magneto, and Mystique, it's time to look to the future. Will Deadpool drop an F-bomb in the middle of a Spider-Man movie? Will Wolverine be played by an actor who isn't over 6 feet tall? And is a House of M movie Marvel's next big crossover event? We get into all of this and more on this week's Heat Vision Breakdown. Say what you will about the X-Men franchise, it got overly cheesy. Cyclops was a whiny frat boy for most of it. This particular scene with the Juggernaut that someone got paid to write.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
But you can't deny that this series has given us so much. Hugh Jackman, first and foremost, one of the slickest opening scenes of any superhero movie, or any action movie really, ever. And even Kevin Feige, who got his start as an assistant on 2000's X-Men. He hadn't even bought his baseball cap yet. After kicking off the superhero movie craze, then faltering a bit, the X-Men series was given new life by successfully rebooting the core franchise with a younger cast in 2011's X-Men First Class, proving that R-rated comic book movies could be commercially and critically successful with Deadpool, and even managing to make a crossover movie with a star-packed cast in Days of Future Past that wasn't topped until Captain America Civil War opened 2 years later. Though Kevin Feige is remaining mum on how the X-Men will be integrated into the MCU at the moment, there are plenty of clues. Avengers writer Stephen McFeely told us in April that whenever Kevin decides to do X-Men or Fantastic Four, it won't be how you think it's going to happen. That in itself is a clue, at least according to our clue-o-meter. Clue. So I guess we can just ignore all these amazing theories that I came up with. The snap sparked radiation causing all the mutants, that was a good one. Garbage now, I guess. X-Men are from an alternate reality that somehow merges into ours. That was a great one. The mutants have existed this whole time, but were afraid to come out of hiding until now. Scarlet Witch creates mutants when trying to revive Vision. That was my favorite one. Garbage. It's all garbage. It's garbage. All right, perhaps I overreacted. Instead of focusing on the how of mutants entering the MCU, let's talk about what the characters will be doing. The answer may lie in Peter Parker.
Wait, he's not a mutant.
Well, I know, all right, stay with me. So far, Spider-Man and the Hulk are the only heroes who have appeared in other movies and then were rebooted for the MCU. Tom Holland's Peter Parker was younger and more fun than his previous versions, and most importantly, we've seen him do things he's never done in film. Having a best friend and confidant who knows his identity, teaming up with other heroes, and not rehashing the death of Uncle Ben. If we apply that same formula to the X-Men, it's clear that Feige won't be interested in simply having Magneto and Professor X come together to argue about the future of mutant kind. We've had decades of that in films, they're not seeing eye to eye, let's move on. Instead, expect Professor X and Magneto to be allies over a period of years. Sure, they disagree, but there will be bigger fish to fry than the two of them going at it. Xavier will likely occupy a high level in the MCU, perhaps reluctantly banding with folks such as Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, and others to form the Illuminati, a secret order of power players who do things even the Avengers can't manage, like wearing shirts that didn't come from Baby Gap. Magneto, meanwhile, will lead a life of seclusion in Genosha. Genosha? Happy to do his own thing until a threat brings him out of the shadows to help the world. Who could possibly play these two titans? They've generally been portrayed by some of the best actors of their generation, so theirs are big shoes to fill. But one thing the MCU has been great at in the past is casting. Speaking of big shoes to fill, expect Wolverine to take on a role in the Avengers as a reluctant badass who plays ball for the greater good, but would prefer to be on his own. You know, like he's always been. We've seen Wolverine in plenty of movies, but aside from Logan, we haven't seen him have too many memorable solo adventures. Well, they were memorable, but maybe not for the right reasons. This may go against Marvel Studios' style, but we haven't actually seen a truly unlikable Wolverine. Hugh Jackman's good nature and charm has always kind of shown through.
Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine.
But what if Feige really surprises us and makes this version of Logan a legitimate a-hole? The big question is, who could play him? Richard Madden's the obvious choice, but he's starring in the MCU's The Eternals, not as Wolverine.
Yeah, why not Aaron Paul? He's short like Wolverine.
Yeah, he's not as good as Richard Madden.
Well, how about Dan Stevens? He's got the acting chops and great eyebrows.
He's already Legion.
I don't care. That's
What,
not in the MCU.
what do eyebrows
He
have
can
to do with Wolverine?
He can do it.
You're both wrong. It should be Richard Madden. Go away. There's only one X-Man who won't be recast, and that's Ryan Reynolds. Disney CEO Bob Iger has assured shareholders again and again that Deadpool will remain R-rated at Marvel. Rumors have suggested he'll show up in a Spider-Man movie, which would require a PG-13 version of the character and potentially take away from the gravitas of Spidey's own movie. It seems more likely, however, that the character would exist outside the MCU, but could perhaps pop up in a massive crossover movie, like House of M. Though Endgame writers Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely are not currently working with Marvel, McFeely has told us that he'd love to do a House of M movie. The 2005 storyline saw Scarlet Witch reshape all of reality, creating a world in which mutants are the ruling class and humans are oppressed. The Avengers and the X-Men must work together to make things right. Since House of M is an alternate reality, perhaps Deadpool could show up to help out. Because at some point, you know that Marvel must build to something just as big as Infinity War, and the only way to top what's come before is some sort of X-Men Avengers crossover movie. I mean, unless Disney decides to just say screw it and merges the MCU and Star Wars universes together. Don't do that. So what are your theories of what will happen in the X-Men and the MCU? And who should play Wolverine? Let us know in the comments right down there. Don't forget to subscribe and join us here every Friday morning for new episodes of Heat Vision Breakdown. Richard Madden.